Good morning. Good morning. Check 1 2. Testing 1. Testing 2 2 2. Hey, yup. Check. 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 Check.
Coffee is actually out here if anybody wants any. I know it's probably needed. Everybody. Hopefully everyone's got their coffee and ready to go. Okay. All right. So a little bit about me and our story. So Alex is our son. He's 21. We discovered that Alex had Gibbs syndrome. He was one of the first ones that was diagnosed in 2014. He was paired up with the first one that was diagnosed was Molly Wilkinson, and Alex and Molly they found that she had it, and then Alex was the second one to be diagnosed with Gibbs syndrome. So we've been on this journey for a while. So I'm going to talk today about guardianship. So Alex is 21. At 18 is when you need to start thinking about guardianship and what the next steps are to becoming an adult. So anyway, so guardianship is, let's see. So it's a legal relationship created by the court in which one person, the guardian, is given authority to make decisions for another person, which is called the ward, who cannot safely make decisions for themselves. The guardian is the person, the authority, the one that has the authority to make decisions like medical care, living arrangements, education, and daily needs. And there are two different types of guardianship. There's guardianship of the person, and guardianship of the estate. We're going to talk about guardianship of the person today. Let's see. So the steps for guardianship, the first one is to hire an attorney. That's the first step that you need to take. The second is filing the application. Then there's a court hearing, and then you have to report annually to the court on your. Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. So why does this matter? So the moment that your child turns 18, you lose all legal authority for your child, regardless of their disability. So that includes medical decisions, school and education, and then daily life and housing. So doctors no longer are able to talk to you about your child or their treatment or diagnosis. Your teachers are no longer able to tell you about teachers are no longer able to talk to you about your child. School administrators are no longer able to include you in decisions for your child, and then daily housing and things about just daily living. Okay, so the first step is to hire an attorney. Let's see, practices, probate law. So what to look for in hiring an attorney, practices probate law or guardianship, so they need to be knowledgeable about that. They have to be able to handle in your own, what is it called? Let's see. Sorry. So they have to be able to handle in your own specific county. The process runs through the probate court, so it has to be in your own county. They have to be able to be knowledgeable in that. And then there is, okay. Yeah, all right. So there are fees that are associated with hiring an attorney. And so there's a filing fee. There is a fee for the ward. So the child that you have in your the ward has a fee that's also, and then the sorry. Anyway, there are fees associated with having an attorney. So it's usually $3,000 to $7,000, and it's broken down with the filing fee, the court-appointed attorney for the ward, the physical evaluation, and then the paperwork is also a fee for this. So when should you start? When should you start filing? 3 to 6 months prior to your child turning 18, you need to start thinking about guardianship. So you need to find the attorney. You have to gather your medical records for your child, and that includes like talking to your doctor, getting all the necessary paperwork, and then you need to file the certificate of medical examination, and the doctor needs to complete that, and that's the document is filed with the court, and let's see, and then you attend the hearing. So you prepare and file. So your attorney gathers the required documents with the medical evaluation. The doctor, you need a letter for the doctor, and then you file the application with the probate court, and the court appoints an attorney to represent your child, and they conduct an investigation. So the court actually has someone come and evaluate your child, and that's all done. Like that's all done at your home. And then a court hearing is done. The judge reviews the evidence and decides whether the guardianship is necessary. And this is often done via Zoom with your attorney present. And the process is pretty straightforward when the documentation is strong. The fourth thing is the letters of guardianship. Once granted, you receive the letters of guardianship, the official documents confirming your authority. You share the copy with your child's doctor, school, and therapist, and anyone who provides care for your child. And then you report annually each year. You must file the annual report with the probate court and pay the fees for the updated letters. Anything that's missing, like if you miss the deadline, then your guardianship is terminated. So, okay. So that's kind of it on guardianship. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Yes, you do. You have to file every year. Yep. Right, you just fill out the form, and you kind of, all you really have to do is, it's kind of like a year in the life of your child. So they just ask questions like, how's your child doing? Those kinds of things, and you fill out the form and then you submit it. So you get papers, yeah. Yep. It does vary by state. Right.
We have to give a list of the doctor's appointments that he has coming up. We have to indicate his activities for the year, and then we have to do a financial reconciliation of his Social Security account and the expenditures that we did for the year. Very summary level.
Right. Yes.
I just wanted to mention, too, there are different, quote-unquote, levels of guardianship. So you can have full guardianship, where you have full legal over everything that she does, versus there now have become supported decision makers, where you just support them. There's different levels that some of you may or may not want to explore, depending on how able your child can be to make decisions on their own later on in their life.
In our state, we have Florida Network of Disabilities, which is where her special needs trusts are out of. And I have to tell you, to be able to pull money from the special needs trust is kind of like this. You have to itemize everything, including pull-ups and Pediasure. My question is, once we're moving into this, because Carson's 15, is that the same sort of process? And do you know I don't know if Texas has one, but if Network on Disabilities attorneys can also then help you go into the next step with all of that? I mean, it's really annoying having to put down every pull-up. But
Right.
So do we actually have to continue, is that part of what happens when she's 18, when you're saying to make the lists?
So you don't really have to document all of that kind of thing for guardianship. Yeah, you just go online every year, and you fill out just a form of kind of like a day in the life kind of thing, and then submit it, and then you get your paperwork again for the next year.
I think part of the confusion might be between guardianship of person and guardianship of estate, because like Pat is already into the point where they have a special needs trust and they're having to deal with money. All we have is guardianship of person, and so really the main thing you have to establish with that is that
Yep.
your child needs a guardian. And the hardest thing about it, you hear that word incompetent, my kid is incompetent, but that's the legal framework that they have to use. So you don't really have to get into any of the money of it. It's more like what you're going to do for your child that year, like the plan. We do a guardianship report once a year in Ohio, but then we also do a guardianship plan every 2 years. And it's basically where you're outlining what your goals are for your child. Cool. It's not
Right,
nearly that
yeah.
involved. It's like one page, and you're basically listing like Mark wears Mark wanders, so he has a Project Lifesaver bracelet that they can find him using radio frequency. So you just write on, like we write on there, we'll continue that program so that if he gets away from us, we can find him. Things like we'll continue regular doctor's visits, dentist visits, eye checkups, continue medications, or if you don't have a special needs trust yet and you're planning on doing that, you could list that as something that you're going to do. But that just gets filed every 2 years.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about guardianship? Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is SSI. It's supplemental security income. And there are lots of changes that happen when your child turns 18. So guardianship is one of them, and then an SSI is another, and that's a benefit that they can start receiving when they're 18. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So what is SSI? So it's a fundamental program, a federal program administered by the Social Security Administration. It provides monthly cash payments to eligible individuals. It's available to people with disabilities, blindness, or limited income resources, and it covers children and adults who meet financial and medical requirements. And it's kind of like a safety net once the child turns 18. So there are two different types. There's SSI and there's SSDI. Once you turn 18, SSI is the one that you would qualify for. SSDI is based on work credits. So I think most of our children would probably qualify under the SSI requirement. So the basis is financial need. There's no work that's required for SSI. So SSDI is based on work requirements. And some children qualify for SSI, but it's mostly once you turn 18, that's when you would qualify for it.
Sorry, I have another question really fast.
Yeah.
Carson's an actor, so she does have an income during the year, but right now we did get her SSI. It's not much at all, but hi everyone. She likes microphones. Hola, good morning. But it's not very much. But I guess my question is, if she continues to get acting gigs and modeling gigs, does this mean I have to move to SSDI when she's 18?
I think you would just have to move that money over so that she can't have more than $2,000 in an account in her name. So you would have to move that over into a trust or some sort of, yeah. Pat, you might want to.
Yeah, so actually Kevin gets SSDI. I'm not really sure why, to be honest with you. I think it might be because our parents are gone, and so he gets a higher level.
It's probably based on your father or your parents.
Correct. So he's been receiving, which is a much higher amount of money. His is about $1,600 a month. And so, what was I going to say? So and he has a bank account that the money comes into. I'm his representative payee, so I manage the bank account. If that bank account goes more than $2,000, he can be cut off, from Medicaid. So it's important to spend the money on, and you can spend it on anything related to his care. That's what it is. Yeah. Yes, it's at the end of the month. They will. So So for example, yeah, when Kevin was going for he annually, he has to have a redetermination for Medicaid. I'm sure you're going to talk about this. And I have to send in copies of the bank statements, and it's just looking to make sure that at the end of the month, the bank balance was less than 2,000. You need to, I mean, for all these things, you need to talk to an attorney, but she, as an individual, having income is going to reduce the Social Security benefits that you get.
Yeah, it would reduce it. So $2,000 is the resource limit, so your child can only have $2,000 to their name at one given time. So accountable income is wages, gifts, support, any of that can reduce your payment. So you need to kind of be aware of how much money your child has in an account or in their name. Not all income counts. So the first $20 a month of income is like doesn't count, and then $65 of earned income is excluded. So how do you apply for SSI? So you can go on their website, it's ssa.gov, or you can call, or you can actually go to the Social Security office, but the lines are super long, and I would totally recommend just doing the online application. So let's see. So the second step is gathering your documents. So you need to collect all your medical records, your school records, any work history if your child has worked at all, bank statements and financial documents before you get started, and then submit and track. So you need to keep copies of everything you've submitted to the SSI. Note the dates and the contact names that you have spoken with for SSI. Documents you'll need the birth certificate or their social security number. Any medical evaluations or treatments and your doctor's contact information. The bank statements, proof of income, any IEPs or ARD documents you'll need, and any therapy records. And then a bank account needs to be set up in your child's name for direct deposit. So when you start receiving the checks every month, they will go into an account, and it has to be set up in the child's name. You can be the secondary on it, but the account needs to be actually in your child's name. Okay, so tips to maximize your benefit. Report all of your medical expenses. Document all your medical costs that can reduce your accountable income, and also any medical costs and also like just I guess medical costs. Secure income carefully. So. Or structure income carefully. So keep income organized to avoid unnecessary payment reductions. Strong medical documentation. Keep your reports from specialists, therapists, and teachers to document functional limitations. And you can use ABLE accounts or trusts to keep your money like secure. So ABLE accounts are used, or special needs trusts are used to keep within the resource limits. Check state supplements. Many states add the federal SSI payment, review what's available in your state, and then seek expert help if you need it. So there are disability attorneys or SSI advocates that can help you with the process. So ABLE accounts. Able accounts are for eligible individuals with disabilities, and it helps them save money, and it doesn't affect their SSI eligibility. So you can put money in an ABLE account, and it doesn't go toward the $2,000. Funds in the ABLE account generally don't count towards SSI and the $2,000 resource limit. Money can be used for housing, transportation, education, assistive technology, and support needs. And then you can contribute up to $18,000 a year into an ABLE account, and it's tax-free. So with SSI, they actually have programs that are set up for your child if you want them to work. So they have several things that they have set up for that. So Plan to Achieve is the PASS account, or the PASS support, and that allows SSI recipients to set aside income and resources for work goals without having them count against their benefits. So it helps them, like if they want to work, or if you want your child to learn how to be supportive on their own. There's self-earned income exclusions. So students under 22 who regularly attend school can be exclude a portion of their earned income through SSI, and then there's job supports that they have set up too. So apply at the age of 18. The eligibility rules are set in place that once the child turns 18, that the parental income is no longer counted, so that makes them eligible for SSI. And then apply early. The process can take up to a year once you initially apply. Keep your records updated, maintain current evaluations, transitional plans, and IEPs to support the application, and then document all your daily needs. And then room and board strategy: if your child lives at home, have them pay you out of their SSI benefit so that they'll get the maximum amount. So common reasons that claims are denied: incomplete medical evidence, so insufficient records to document the disability or its functional impact on daily activities, missed deadlines or appointments if you don't call them back after they've called you. A lot of times that's an issue. If your income or resources are too high, it can also deny you, and then insufficient functional documentation. And then there's an appeals process if you are denied. Most claims are denied initially, and appeal can be done. So you request a review by the SSI examiner. It must be filed within 60 days of denial. There's a hearing. You can do a hearing, and that's appear before the administrative judge. You may present evidence and witnesses on your behalf, and then you can appeal through the council, request a review through SSI council if it's denied, and then you could also go to federal court if you're denied. So important SSI tips and tricks: respond quickly, reply to all SSI requests promptly. Delays can pause or reduce your benefit. Stay organized, keep detailed records, copies of submissions, and communication logs with dates and names, and get expert help if you need it. Disability attorneys are a great resource or to advocate for your child. So ssa.gov is where you go to initially file for it. There's the ABLE resources right there, and then the state disability advocacy organizations are also a good resource. So, any questions on SSI? Yes. You don't have to go all, yeah, you don't have to go all the way back, yeah, no, no. Any other questions?
At least in Ohio, we get paperwork every month, actually twice a month. And it's a form that tends to look the same month after month, but every once in a while they'll type in there, we need to call you to verify, we're going to call you on this date to verify that, you know, your circumstances are still the same.
Right.
And it's easy to just file that paper and wherever you file your papers and not realize that there's something a little different on it. So just kind of look over that paper when you get it each month to make sure. And then one other thing, I've heard some people say that having an ABLE account is good to do in conjunction with the Special Needs Trust. And the reason why is because with the ABLE account, you can use it for housing, whereas with the Special Needs Trust, you're really not supposed to use it for housing or food. So some people use their Special Needs Trust to kind of fund their ABLE account, because the disadvantage with the ABLE is, say grandparents or aunts or uncles or parents plunk a lot of money into that. If the child dies, that money all goes back to the state. It doesn't go back to the family. So you can kind of use the two things in conjunction to serve you best.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So for the families with the younger kids, this is something that is probably terrifying you right now, but I didn't realize that she could qualify to get even just a little bit every month as SSI disability. And so I didn't know that until she was much older. And when we finally got our fabulous Shaw-Gibbs syndrome diagnosis, it did make it much easier. But you can also go through, she had the website, Molly had the website up for SSI. You can ask for disability help. I think that it would range, for us, it ranges between $600 and $900, and they check up once a year for that. So all the questions I've been asking are because I'm in my spot of nerves, and thank you, Molly, for this incredible resource help, because I'm worried about when she turns 18. But for all of you with the little ones, you might be able to qualify now, and we didn't think we would. We own a house, we own a car, cars. We didn't think it would work, but there are ways to make it work, and even that little tiny bit of help per month will help, because insurance doesn't, obviously, as we all know, doesn't seem to cover everything we need.
Right.
So just, when she was little, no, I didn't. I just made an appointment and spoke with someone, and she batted her big eyes. I prefer to do things in person, but now we do everything on the phone. As she said, the Social Security departments are they're a little scary too. You never know what you're going to.
Long wait times, yeah.
And long wait times, and also just a little, ours at least in Pinellas is a little frightening, and we're not scared of much. But if you can get an in-person meeting for your first one, for when they're little, it's going to show that person that you're sitting in front of, they really make that split decision if they're going to push you forward or not. And I feel like that day, Carson had her little pigtails, and she was little. I mean, I think she was probably 7 when she got diagnosed. How old is Cora? Almost 9. So, yeah, there we go. So, yes, so about 7 years old when she got diagnosed. But I suggest, if it's possible, to go the first time, but if it's hopefully come a lot farther than when she was 7.
Wow.
But I just want the younger families to know that I wish we had known that that was a resource before she was older, because I don't even think we got it until she was a little older than that. So guys, yeah, I mean, we're starting what she's talking about. Maybe jump in and try for, that's my 2 cents, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about special needs trusts versus ABLE accounts. All right, so special needs trust, it's a legal planning tool for long-term asset protection. It protects protects benefits. It's structured so that the beneficiary keeps their SSI and their Medicaid eligibility intact. It's trustee managed, so you as a parent can be a trustee, and it controls distributions. It ensures funds are used appropriately. It's supplemental needs. It covers expenses that the governmental benefits don't, like recreation, technology, clothing, and daily expenses. And it's legally set up, so it's drafted by an attorney, and it's properly funded. Yeah, it's funded. Okay. An ABLE account is it's a tax advantage savings account created by the ABLE Act in 2014. It allows people with disabilities to save without losing their public benefits. It grows tax-free. It's self-managed. Your benefits are protected, and so it keeps the funds so that it's not taken away. So here are the major differences in versus special needs trust and ABLE accounts. So there's no asset limit for special needs trusts, but there is for ABLE accounts. You can only put in, I think it's actually $18,000 a year. I put in 19, but I think it's 18. For special needs trust, it's set up by an attorney. For an ABLE account, it's just a simple, I think it's online. And then it's for special needs trusts, it's managed by a trustee, and then the actual beneficiary for an ABLE account can be managed. There are costs associated with special needs trusts. You have to hire an attorney, versus an ABLE account doesn't cost much to do that. And then for special needs trusts, it's best for if you have large inheritances or large amounts of money to be set aside. A special needs trust is better than an ABLE account. For ABLE accounts, you set it up before the age of 26, I guess. The disability has to be recognized by the age of 26. I think it now may be 46, but originally it was for 26. You have to have a disability recognized. $18,000 a year is the maximum amount that you can put in an ABLE account, and it does not go towards your SSI benefit. So there are 3 types of trusts. The third-party trust is probably the best one. It's funded by parents, grandparents, that kind of thing, and that's the kind of trust that you would probably want to set up for your child. So these are the expenses that are covered for both. Housing, transportation, you can use it for medical or dental. education, technology, or just personal support. So a lot of people use them together in conjunction. So you could have a special needs trust set up and then also an ABLE account, and they kind of work in tandem to keep your maximum benefit for SSI. Okay, so what they share, the benefit eligibility, both tools are essential, designed to let individuals keep SSI and Medicaid and still have the financial resources available to them. Disability experts, both can pay for a wide range of disability costs beyond just the government program. So it'll cover a lot more than just the regular governmental programs. Financial flexibility, both provide a pathway to better financial stability and planning options for individuals and families, and both can offer together complementary parts of one strategy. So tips for families: get specialized legal help. Not every attorney understands special needs planning. Seek one with specific experience in disability law and governmental benefits. Review rules regularly. SSI and Medicaid, the rules change, so you need to be aware of any changes that take place. Document all expenses. Keep detailed records of every withdrawal and how funds are used. This will protect your child from not getting benefits. Start early. The moment a diagnosis is established, planning should begin. Wait lists are long in some cases. And then update estate plans, review beneficiary wills and trusts whenever there's a major change in the family. So here are the differences at a glance for special needs trust versus ABLE accounts, what they're best for. All right, so special needs trust and ABLE accounts each serve critical and different roles. The right choice depends on the asset levels, financial goals, and the independence of the beneficiary. Most families use both tools together to provide the strongest combination of protection and flexibility. Okay, so is there any questions about ABLE accounts versus trusts? Yeah, go ahead.
If you have a special needs trust, it doesn't have to be funded, even though you have it. It doesn't have to have money dumped into it yet. It's usually when you die or grandparents die. And once you get money into it, that's when it does get to be a little more expensive to maintain. You have to file a tax return for it each year and those type of things.
Right. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Medicaid waiver programs. So what is a Medicaid waiver? It's a federal program. It allows the states to waive standard Medicaid rules so that they can create flexible programs that pay for home and community services instead of using nursing homes or institutions. It's state designed, so each state has their own waiver program. So Texas, has like 8, I think, waiver programs that you could qualify for, but each state has their own. And it serves people with chronic illness or disabilities, and the core purpose is to provide long-term supports for people living in those communities. So why do waivers matter? Traditional Medicaid covers only medical care, and waivers go beyond that. So they'll pay for home living, daily supports. If you have a need, if your child needs someone in the home, sometimes they'll provide that. For caregiver relief, and then also for long-term stability. So some of the types of services that are offered through waivers: personal care, so bathing, dressing, and eating, and mobility. They'll sometimes provide modifications to the home, like ramps, bathroom upgrades if you need grab bars or something in the bathroom. Employment supports, they'll provide some job coaching, respite care for the primary caregiver, medical equipment, therapies, transportation, and community living. So who qualifies? So medically fragile children could qualify for a waiver. Physical disabilities, mental disabilities, seniors, or anyone needing nursing care level. When to apply? Apply as early as possible. As soon as you get a diagnosis is when you should apply. The wait lists are very long. They can be up to 15 plus years long for your name to get called. So I would really recommend getting on a waiver list early. There's multiple lists, and you can put your name on all of the lists. I would highly recommend putting your name on all of them. And then if your name comes up and you decide you don't need the assistance, you can always deny it. But go ahead and get on as quickly as you can. So how do you apply? Contact your Medicaid office. Join the waiver list. A lot of times you have to call in every year and update your name and just say, yes, I still want to be on it, or they'll take you off. Provide basic identification and anyway, yeah. Okay, what you'll need, tips for success. You'll need medical records, psychology evaluations, proof of disability, income verification, and any IEPs. Don't wait. Go ahead and get on early. Stay organized. Keep all your documents in one place and any backup copies. Respond fast. If they call you, you need to call them back. Make sure that you respond to any requests that are given. Update your information, keep your address and phone numbers current, and then track your status on the wait list. So common misconceptions. You must wait until you need the services. That's not true. Go ahead and apply early. You don't know if you're going to need it, but the services when they're older, but go ahead and get on the wait list. And you can get on multiple wait lists. So every state's different. Each state is independent with their Medicaid waiver programs. This means that the name, services, or eligibility rules are different for each state, and wait lists depend on where you live. So don't assume that every state's experience mirrors yours. Always check directly with your Medicaid office. So waivers cover things that traditional Medicaid don't, and private insurance doesn't usually pay for. Once approved, many waivers have no expiration date, so once you're on for life, which is awesome. Apply the moment that your diagnosis is established, and the waiver programs can really help with financial burden. And that's it about waivers. So any questions on waivers? Oh. Yeah.
Like if we ask for Mark, sorry. So Mark lives with us right now, but if we went for the Medicaid waiver where he could live by himself and we got it, and but if we denied it for the long term, what happens then? Do you have to reapply if you deny it?
Yeah, you have to reapply.
So you'd be another 10 to 15 years
Yes,
possibly?
right,
Okay.
right. Yep.
The
So-
Medicaid waiver is what pays for our son's day support. He goes to like that would go through SSI. If your child lives with you, you get a lesser payment for SSI than if they lived in their own apartment or a group home or.
You want a hug?
Okay.
So our experience with Medicaid waivers has been many and varied. So as I said yesterday, after my parents died, our parents died, Kevin needed a place to live. And so the Medicaid waiver process went very, very quickly because he was an emergency case at that point, and he jumped to the top of the list. We moved to Maryland, and Kevin lived with us for a while. He lived with my brother, he lived with me. And in the state of Maryland, they said, well, he's living with family, so he's not an emergency anymore. We're like, whoa. So they said, unless you tell us you can't take care of him, we can't consider an emergency. And that was, who wants to say that, right?
Right.
The Medicaid waiver is also subject to that $2,000 bank account limit. His Medicaid waiver was slashed one year because his account balance went to $2,100. And so we had to get it redetermined again. They have recently challenged, Kevin has, so Kevin's Medicaid waiver pays for his 24/7 care, including awake overnight, because he needs that, and it's been documented that he needs that. But they did challenge it this year because there's a number of, there's a lot of stuff going on in the federal government now challenging Medicaid. So they challenged whether he needed one-on-one care. So we get documentation from his doctor and from a bunch of other people to validate that. But it is, the Medicaid waiver makes the difference between Kevin being able to live on his own with the care that he needs versus us trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do kind of thing. So it's very, very valuable. I echo what Molly said as far as, getting the list early, getting an understanding early. Respite services are available. As a caregiver, you don't have to wait for, parents to die to be able to get services from the Medicaid waiver. So.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, we have Alex on all of the interest lists. He's just now rolling on to one called Texas Home Living, and that will pay for respite, and it'll actually pay for him to go to school. So it'll like 6 hours of like a day. They'll pay for him to go to another program that he can learn job skills and that kind of thing. And that one we've been on a wait list for I think 10 years. There's one that's the Holy Grail, it's HCS, and we've been on that wait list since he was 3. And he probably still has another, I would say, 3 to 5 years. You still have, you got to call in every year and verify that, yes, he's still on, you still want to be on the wait list, and yeah. And there's like 30,000 people on the wait list, and he's probably now 1,200 still, ahead of him. So, but that one will pay for housing when he gets older, if we want to put him in a group home, or if we want to put him in some sort of independent, like, living scenario, it'll pay for that. HCS, but that one's just, it's Texas specific, but yeah, but that one's like, if you get on that one, like, you're solid, you're golden.
Yeah, I think all of the services are basically kind of the same definition, but they're all called something different
Right.
in every state. So that
Each state has,
like
has their
community
own name
living
for their
or-
programs, right?
Exactly. So,
Right.
but And the one that's very interesting, but also being kind of a little bit questioned now, is self-directed services. And that's where if you need to have someone care for your child, you can hire that person to do that. And it can be a relative, it can be a trusted friend.
Family member, yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of administration to it. It's very complicated to manage. It's a fairly recent concept in the last maybe 5-10 years. But it does enable you to manage that whole process. But remember, you're the hirer. You have to go out and hire people. And if you don't have, that village that's going to be able to, that you're going to be able to pay to do that, and you have to go out and find people,
Right.
That's a lot of work, and it's hard to find really good people.
So a lot of times they'll give you a certain amount of hours per week that you could either hire a caregiver, or you can use it, you can actually pay yourself to do it. It's hard to find a caregiver because the pay is not that great. It's, I think, $18 to $20 maybe an hour, and it's hard to find a caregiver. So a lot of times, yeah, you can use a family member is usually the best solution for that. But yeah, you can basically pay yourself for taking care of your child.
So I'm currently going through a crisis application with my child for his seizure management. And we're very close to getting the approval. The office said that we just need to do another diagnosis for his autism, because they couldn't just use the shy gives. They only will give him the med waiver for his autism. So he had to get a whole new diagnosis for that we have scheduled for July. But they said to reapply with that and all the other things they can help us with. So he's only 14. Do you know if he would have access to the same level of supports that you're talking about today upon given that, even though he's not 18, or would those supports look different?
So the Medicaid waivers, there's some that you don't have to be 18. So there's one that we just had to roll off of it because he's 21. It's called the MDCP. It's Medically Dependent Children's Program. That's Texas specific, but I'm sure that every state has one or has those type programs. And yeah, you can, as a child, there's waiver programs for children too, not just 18. Yeah.
Hawaii actually doesn't have what they call a waiver program, but she is on a program that gives her like respite. They call it PAB in our state, but it's like help with daily living skills and community services. So it's an X number of hours per week, and then or per year. That's the client directed that she was talking about. So yes, I believe most states probably offer some kind of services, but it's called something different in every state.
Yep. And it changes too. So Alex, when he was young, when he was a baby, he was on MDCP, and because he had a lot more medical needs, it's very medically driven. And then, like he didn't have seizures for several years, and so he no longer qualified. And then when he turned 16, he had to have a G-tube put in. And so then after we had the G-tube put in, then he qualified again for MDCP. So there was like a 4 or 5 year period that he didn't qualify for it, and then he re-qualified. So. Yeah.
I can talk to you later, but we do get quite a few things in certain counties. I was just saying, not ours specifically, certain counties in Florida will pay you as the caregiver. And that is brand new. It hasn't been happening, and it's a kind of like a secret, like people are trying to get it, and you have to go through an agency that's like a caregiving agency, but it's actually, from what I understand, quite easy. The test is quite easy. It's, I think, something that we could probably all do in our sleep. Insurance in Florida, the caregivers that I've had when I had a surgery or when I'm on set for a long time, they a lot of times just sit on their phones, so they're not at all like what you guys have. But you can, it depends on what county you live in, and I have a phone number that I can give you. And if anyone else lives in a state where that is an option, look it up, because we spend, even if you have a job, so I run a theater company, and even if you have a job, but my full-time job is Carson, right? So I might run this theater, but, Ola, yes, back on the microphone. But I would still, once my, so every county around us is allowing this except for ours. But the minute ours does, I'm going to take that test, because even if I have to pay a babysitter to come in, I can take it out of that. So I can get you that information and whatever else on that from Florida. And you should come hang out with us in Florida.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I think the really important thing, as Molly talked about, is to get on to waiver availability, because you can always adjust the services later. So establishing that disability, and then so you can move from being, maybe having respite care, to ultimately getting personal supports, to ultimately getting residential services, et cetera. But the actual approval process is a thing that takes forever, so.
Real quickly, guys, one, I want to thank everyone for coming out and spending your weekend with us. We're going to change the format up a little bit. I don't want to interrupt this flow that we have, because this is very valuable information that we're getting. We're going to change the format a little bit. It's going to be more roundtable, kind of Q&A, like what questions do you have, do you want to talk about, that we can all join in together. I did want to make a couple of announcements. We have a couple of holiday ornaments outside. These are made from a company that employs special needs individuals, and it's our Shaw Gibbs logo. And if you want any of them, you can talk to Molly. I also want to thank Josh and his team. He has worked tirelessly. They've all worked tirelessly to help put this on and make it as flawless of an experience as it's been. So did want to shout out to him and his crew and say thank you to them. And thank you all for coming out. Yeah. So yeah, we can continue this, but I just want to kind of say thank you to everyone. And also, we have recorded everything. Everything that you've seen will be available on our website. We've already started posting some things on Facebook, so just keep an eye out on Facebook and on the website for any information that you're still looking for. So, all right, again, thank you guys so much for coming.
All right, I had a question for everybody. So Cora's 9, she's about to be 9 next week, and when she was a baby, she had hypertension, and as she grew, she actually outgrew it, and then about a year ago, we started going down the road again, and we just finished with all the testing and everything, and I just wanted to know if anybody else's kids have high blood pressure as well. I don't think it's a hallmark of Shaw Gibbs, but I just wanted to see if it was happening to anybody else, and maybe we just didn't know that it was happening for some of the kids.
I know that some other people that have been talking about maybe the potential for the diagnosis of dysautonomia, so that is issues regulating your nervous system. I've seen some things before, but not in blood pressure specifically. That is in that category. Heart rate is another one. Bowel and bladder regulation is another. We've also where their skin turns different colors because of it's not going through the same way because of their nervous system. So that might be something to look into. Maybe I don't know.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. We're capturing a lot of valuable information. The only way that we're going to be able to capture this and record it is if you're talking into a mic. So we've got 3. Where's the orange one at? Right here? Okay. There's one right here. We can have one on this side. We've got a blue one over here, and then I've got this one that we can pass around closer in the middle. Yes, please.
So I know that at one point on the Facebook page, someone had mentioned their kid potentially being diagnosed with dysautonomia. So that's just dysregulation of the nervous system. It affects bowel and bladder. It affects blood pressure. It affects heart rate. I know some kids will pass out. I can't remember exactly all of them, but it's definitely something to look into. Our neurologist wrote it off, so I'm going to be honest. It's hard to know what's Shaw Gibbs, what's that, Sometimes it's the same thing with like the autism. What's autism, what's Shaw Gibbs? Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to decipher which is which, but that might be something to look into.
Okay. And When was Alex diagnosed? Oh, no, you said he had hypertension too?
He hasn't actually been officially diagnosed with it, but every time we go into the doctor, he has high blood pressure, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we just did.
And heart rate.
Okay, yeah, our doctor thought that she maybe had renal artery stenosis, but we just had a CT angiogram and everything came up normal. And she was like, just see if anybody has any ideas if maybe it is, because with our sample size being so small, it still could be a marker of it and we just don't
Yeah.
know yet, so.
We've been to the cardiologist several times, and he just runs high.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So. No, it doesn't run in our family. It doesn't.
I had a question, and this might be irrelevant to every one of you. I have Shy Gibbs, and I have a familial link. Does anybody else in here have a familial link?
No.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
You're a superstar.
No, I just, and everything that she just said, I don't have high blood pressure. I have very low blood pressure. I have POTS, but I also have the bladder, the everything else with the auto temperature regulation, the nervous system regulation, all of that. So my Shy Gibbs presents more in a medical fashion. My son Caden, I don't know if you saw him with the headphones, he is the most severe out of all of us. He is the most impacted seizures, uncontrollable seizures, I will just say. That's been the primary issue in our household, and what led us to this diagnosis and this whole thing and this whole community that we're in now. And then from there, we found out that my older son has it, and he has just been, categorized as high-functioning autism his whole life. So it's kind of, at the same time, what you just said, like what is the autism versus the Shy Gibbs versus any other, medical complexity that might have been thrown in the mix. But his neurologists are very much saying that the genetic epilepsy is something that is harder to control. So I don't know if any of you have any experience with that, but I'm open to any and all advice on his journey, because we're about to start ketogenic diet. That is the last step before surgical intervention. So anyone else relate to me, then reach out. He actually is on CBD. Oh, no, you need a new doctor. Our neurologist was the first one.
Could you repeat what you just said, because you're not on mic?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just asked if she considered marijuana. Our neurologist, we had asked, just because there's a lot of side effects of the anti-seizures, and I'm seeing a lot more now that, they're upping the dose. But our neurologist's response was that she would drop us. She cannot even comment on it in our state. I know that's different across the board. Every state's different, but that was a comment that was made for us.
On that, CBD has been the most effective in his seizure management. I will say, I've posted in the group about it. He went the longest stretch, 98 days, okay, with that medication alone.
What was it again?
CBD, Epidiolex. Epidiolex. It is the FDA-approved version of CBD. I don't go to the dispensary for it. It's shipped to our house. And he's on, that dose paired with the clobazam, which on neuroreceptors, it targets the same strain that some seizures derive from. So when you don't have success with just the Epidiolex, usually they'll introduce the clobazam to help kind of strengthen that neuroreceptor. And so far, he is on day 96. So
Everyone knock on wood.
We're on day 96 again. So hopefully that combination will work for him. And as he starts the ketogenic diet, he'll start to see more advances. But I highly recommend getting another neurologist, because it's an FDA-approved. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I highly recommend.
A med that for people who don't have as severe as you guys have. Carson started a new med that I'm going to call it a magical med, because she a couple years ago, I was like, that one makes her look like a monkey on the ceiling, and this one makes her this way, and this one, oh my gosh, she's like a totally different human. It is called Aptium. It is a version of one of if you looked at the graph from yesterday, when he was speaking about the newer meds that are, it's up at the top, but it's called like, I don't know. But if you tell your neurologist Aptium, hi, yes, we're back on mic. Aptium, it has, again, knock on wood, 0 side effects. So it is literally, we grind it, put her through a G-tube, and she is with it and singing and doing her thing.
Is it a seizure med?
It's a seizure med, and we have seen a decline in her seizures. And I'm not kidding. It's like, it's a newer drug, but it's worth asking about. Aptium, A-P-T-I-O-M. I do know how to spell one.
And is it generic? Is there a generic?
I think that, I mean, our insurance covers it
long-
completely.
Okay.
Like, it's a zero, it's one of the 0 ones. Now, there are other things she's on that insurance refuses to cover until she's 21, which also makes no sense. So if anyone has any idea of why do they put an age on medications? There's a question for me, everybody. Not right, yeah. Well, a lot of people have asked about puberty. So does anybody have any questions about puberty? I am an open book about what we have been through this year.
I mean, Cora is still way too young to really worry, thankfully, about that so much. But kind of like rolling off of that, I guess one of my future concerns too are sterilization options as well, and whether or not anybody's battled that. I know at least one that's had a hysterectomy.
Yeah, I know of one that had a hysterectomy.
One.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I'm liking what we're doing with Carson right now, and then I'll pass it down to you. With Carson, don't you love that I'm going to talk about your period right now? She says it's okay. All right. When she got it a few months ago, we decided, or actually it was last summer, so I guess it's like a year now. Wow, time flies. She's 15, so it was much later than most people, typical people, but she handled it very well. I've had pads in the house and panties called Nicks, soak it in. I've had them in the house since she was like 10, just in case. So I had a whole group of everything organized. I will say that her first one, she did not stop bleeding for like most of the summer. It was like gunk, off, on, off, on, off. But we did see a specialist about it because at Johns Hopkins All Children's, there is someone that is only for girls hitting puberty. And so there is an actual specialist, and Johns Hopkins has them at multiple Johns Hopkins locations. She asked what I wanted to do, and sterilization for us is not an option in my mind. We're not there. I'm loving her little teenage eye rolls and things like that. It's kind of comical and funny, and it's cracking me up. The medication she is on, though, we did go with the medication. So I know a lot of people wanted to know about that. It is called Heather. Another one I can say. It is called Heather, and it is like birth control without the week off.
So she has periods.
She hasn't since. She takes it continuously. We grind it with her meds every night. They say she might have one a month, possibly, or not a month, but that's typical. One a year, possibly one a year, but as of now, she has not had, I'm talking about Heather, her dad not her babysitter Heather, the medication, the face I just got from her dad. Once a year. I am finding it has also 0 side effects. Do you want to sit up? Can you blow kisses? Okay, or pick your eye. She has not gained weight from this. She has grown quite a bit. I know that there was some weight things happening with some of our older girls, and I love her no matter what size she is. No body shaming here, but this is not at all affecting her weight. Her little boobies still haven't come in, but they're starting to, you can see that they're gonna hang out. I don't know how else to say that. She's got little rosebuds happening, but, oh yes, thank you, hola. Now that I'm blushing, she's fine. But the Heather medicine has been really helpful. She doesn't seem to have, I do teach a lot of neurodivergent and typical kids in the theater company, and they're all having mood swings and highs and lows, and she is just Carson. Again, knock on woods. Yes, and I'm
It
thinking.
seems like the girls maybe develop early,
And she's late.
but the boys don't. The boys are delayed. Like Alex he didn't hit puberty till he was probably 16, 17. So it seems like the boys are more delayed and the girls hit it early.
She was 15, so she was delayed, and there's one, I can be loud. There's one more person, there's one young lady that didn't get her period until she was 19. She's never been to a conference. They always have really pretty colors of hair, like pink and blue. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, but she's on the Facebook group, but I don't think she got it until she was 19.
Just so you know, Mark was not delayed at all. He was probably 11 or 12. And I know the girls are dealing with the period thing, and I thought, ooh, I'm so glad I don't have a girl. But with the boys, there were problems with that too. And one of the moms that I met 2 years ago actually called me, and we talked quite a bit over it because she was having troubles with it too. They just cognitively, at least our sons, didn't understand that you can't put your hands in your pants, you can't take things out and show everyone. So that's something that we still are struggling with. And the one thing that we have find helpful is to put in his ISP that the help at the day hab where he goes to needs to keep eyes on him at all times, because you can get yourself into some serious legal trouble with those kind of things, and they have no idea what they're doing. But he was not late.
Yeah, no, regarding the girls, right? So my daughter is just turned 20. She got her period when she was 13. Yeah, very typical. But the one thing that I found out 2 years after we trialed it at Skurnik Hospital, so I'm from Toronto, Canada, because they wanted to make sure that she has the normal cycle and she's healthy and everything was working well. But then because she couldn't handle it and I had to do it for herself, we put the IUD for her. And that is like a gift from heaven. So she's been on it for 5 years now.
And no periods, right? No periods.
None whatsoever, no side effects, everything works very well. So again, yeah.
So my daughter started quite early at the age of probably like 10. And there was a point in time where life exploded. And some of you know what I'm talking about. She was like a teenager and a toddler all at the same time, and that's the two worst times and stages of life that you could possibly put together. And they got together. And that was probably the hardest years. And we didn't know about child or autism or anything because she wasn't diagnosed with any of those. So those were tough. I won't lie. Barely survived. I don't know how we're still here. But broken TVs and stoves and, I mean, everything. But it was rough. So at the age of 10, she did get her period. I would say to warn parents, if I knew that she was starting her hormone swings that early, I might have done something differently. Back then, even like talking to the doctors about it, they had no clue. I am talking about you. It's much better now, though, right? Yeah. So she's 17 now. We have decided on a different route. We were given the option of IUD, birth control. I mean, they run the gamut, right? You can do all kinds of things. We have decided to do cream, so just progesterone cream. I do see a naturopath, and her hormones were like crazy. And so the progesterone cream helps to even it out, but she still is like more normal and regular in terms of her cycles and stuff like that. And the way we deal with it is just we know it's coming and we prepare for it. Everyone's just like a little bit more, yeah, we know it's coming, guys. Like she's gonna be more aggressive. Might get up earlier in the morning, 4, 3, you know. But other than that, yeah, we just kind of watch her. She's still incontinent, so it's a lot more changes throughout the day. Every 2 hours, she needs to be changed or she will probably leak. That type of thing. I know it's kind of graphic, but we're all friends here, and we all go through the same thing. So hopefully you guys won't experience the really crazy part of it, but just know that the hormones changed her a lot. And unfortunately not for the better, but we're on a better path now with the cream and ABA therapy, behavioral therapy. They got her on it wasn't doing nothing until they got her on a program called SBT, which is skills-based training, and it has changed our lives. So it's behaviorally, she's sitting here all day, and she's handling pretty well without meltdowns. It took us sometimes like 3 hours to have her brush teeth, change clothes in the morning, and eat breakfast. It was rough. To where we are now, it's huge, life-changing differences. So, yeah, even getting in the car, hour and a half, I'd have to prep. Like sometimes it's 10 minutes, and then I'm like, what do we do for the next hour? Because I was prepping for the hour fight, right? So, yeah, so we've lots of interventions, lots of trying different things. So if your child is struggling with behavior, maybe SBT is the answer, I don't know. For yours, it's skills-based training through an ABA, yeah. It's a very regimented, it takes months and months.
Is that like after they like kind of age out of like ABA, the skills-based training?
No, ABA trains the SBT. SBT is a very specific type of therapy that the ABA therapist will train her
At what
on.
age can they start that?
Oh, any age.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can talk to you more about it. But they train her, then they train the family members and the surrounding people that care for her. OT?
Yeah. There's, again, sorry, I'm on a, oh yeah, sorry, well, you'd think I know that. I know that certain training, or certain hospitals have added a really cool program to their OT. I'm on the parent community for Johns Hopkins All Children's, and that is really exciting because there's a lot of changes happening with that specific hospital branch. One really cool one is life skills that are through OT. So you would get your script like you normally would for OT or in PT, and then they can pull in life skills. So they have like the dresser and the bathroom and the bed. We're actually starting it as soon as I get through theater summer camps. I've heard nothing but magical things. The younger you can get your kids into that program, something like that, and it's not like a feeding therapy where you're there forever. It's just a typical go in for an hour and come out, from what I understand. The younger you can get your kids in that the better is my advice. Molly, there was a bunch of questions about, or there were families that didn't know that you could get pull-ups and diapers and wipes and Pediasure through insurance. Do we have time to let them ask whatever questions they would like?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. First of all, I was like, well, I'm not gonna say how old I was, but I was like not too long ago old when I realized that I could get a lot more than I do from insurance. Even if your insurance is Medicaid, if your insurance is Blue Cross Blue Shield, you're gonna get a lot less. But the things that you can get, pull-ups. Now, for her, she's in between. So I still have to buy Amazon pull-ups and we used to use Sposies, which some of our friends have started to put in. Those are booster pads. That definitely helps. Not to be confused with period pads. You want to get the thinnest ones for that, and don't put your Sposie in, put your period pad in. There are other things that are thinner than Sposies that I've found. Those are called Prevail, and they are the longer ones for the older kids. That helps keep the life of your pull-up longer. You can actually just change out, I mean, I usually do a full change, but you can, if barely gone and it's a quick change, you can change just that part and you can keep the integrity of the pull-up. So we do good nights, which I learned from Michelle, Coda's mom, back at the second ever Ja Gibbs convention, and we still to this day use the good nights, the larger versions, and they've actually upped those versions to 100. The one we use is 95 to 120. There's one even bigger, 120 to 170, I believe. But those are not included in insurance. So what you want to do is
Prescription, right? Yeah, you have to have the doctor write a prescription for.
you write a prescription,
yeah.
and then you work with a DME company, and the DME companies vary. Some DME companies are great, some are not. We get her Pediasure and her feeding tube stuff, which we don't really do feeds, but we get her Pediasure and her tummy tube information or things from one company. And then from another company, we get her pull-ups and wipes, whether I still supplement with the Amazon orders. I do, but those are two different companies, and you want to make sure that you're calling the companies once a month. Otherwise, you could miss a date, and then you don't get next month's supplies. But that can start as early as birth. So, yeah, I know that some of you have some good information about this. I'm passing the phone back to you. Monica, don't you have insurance? No, who did? It doesn't cover his diaper.
So I just wanted to offer, I am a board-certified behavior analyst, and I know you were talking about skills-based training. If there's anyone that would like to get some general information on functions of behavior, any kind of, procedures, interventions, reinforcement procedures, and, things that I can help with, things that I can give you experience in. My specialty is communication systems, augmentative and alternative communication systems. I've given a voice to many, many friends of mine in the career that I've had, been blessed to have, and that is how my son, communicates. So if anyone would like some information or wants to talk more, please, I'm an open book.
Maddox could not get ABA therapy because he did not have a diagnosis of autism. So we run into that a lot.
You will run into that a lot. Unfortunately, that is the case in most situations. In my state, they actually were allowing ABA for ADHD as well. They recently revoked that this past month. They did. So you cannot even get, with the Shy Gibbs or a genetic condition, a lot of the times you can't get ABA, and you're looking at paying out of pocket. And so I'm going to let you all know now, you are my family now. You are not going to be paying for any of my services. I am available. If you want to FaceTime, I'm available. If you want to just talk or vent, I'm available anytime, and I'm not going to make you pay for those services. Okay? You guys are my family now, and I will give you every resource I have. And try to help you find more resources if I don't have it. So it's not fair what we have to fight for in this whole country or in the world for our kids, and anything I can do to help alleviate that, I will. I don't know, in my state, there's called a safety net program. That does help pay for some of those services, even without, all of those things, if you can get into it. Again, it's one of those hard things to get into, but if you get into it, they give you like 10 grand a year. It's not a lot. You'll get my services for maybe once a week for a few months, but it's something, but there is a more of a need for ABA services, with our kids, but with more kids in the diagnosis of other realms, of neurodiversity, not just autism, not just genetic conditions, but so many people could utilize the benefits of ABA when done right, okay? Just make sure I say that again, when done right.
That's important.
And I asked her about like the puberty aspect for boys, and she had a lot of good information if you want to talk to her like privately. So.
So is there anybody else that wants to comment or has a question or concern?
I just wanted to clarify, I believe in our situation anyway, you cannot get the diapers from birth. It is diapers after quote unquote neurotypical or normal children wear diapers, and then you can say now it's medical issues, it's a disability issue, it's not a normal child covering diapers type of issue.
Special feeding stuff probably.
Feeding, G-tube stuff, yeah, that's a different issue altogether. And some states, I think, might be able to choose which companies you go to. Ours, we don't have a choice which medical supply company comes from. That's your state, and that's where it's coming from in our state.
You can also get a secondary.
Oh, yeah. You can get a secondary insurance. Is that what you're talking about? Or
You can get a secondary diagnosis that won't travel and follow your child forever. Because when you go to a hospital, you have to be the advocate for your child, as we all know. So if you are, say, in the emergency room, we have to say things right away about what Shaw Gibbs is. And I think it was you who had the binder and like a really great list of what Shaw Gibbs was. Someone did back in the day. So it's smart to have something like that. But your doctors can give you another diagnosis, and you might want to speak with them about it. That will help. So if you are having behavior issues, that will help you be able to kind of get into a loophole for insurance to cover it.
We tried to, I think we went to a couple different neurologists, and we got them tested twice for autism because that was really the only one. That was the loophole. They didn't say there was any other alternative other than autism. But I don't know. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. You get two?
Well, I only need one. I just wanted to say that since we don't have a diagnosis code, to make this easier for the providers that we met, I went through, it took forever. I went through Jackson's records and I made a comprehensive list that I got his doctor to sign off on, and I brought it just as an example of each of his individual symptoms that's built under the Shaw Gibbs that we all see. And I had them put atypical autism, not autism, because I didn't want him to get boxed in. So we live in Colorado, and they're very pro-autism. They'll help you night and day if you have autism, but I always knew this was not autism. So this has helped us a lot. Also, if we get, say, a new therapist, and with all the comorbidities, this really helps them to provide more comprehensive care. So like I even put like the services that we're currently doing to help with those symptoms. And then also on the side of puberty for males, I know I started Jackson with a pediatric endocrinologist when he was about maybe 12, because I noticed his body was slow to get into puberty as well. And I had been following Alex and just kind of gauging a little bit there. So I actually started his blood work a little early, so we had a baseline, and then we can track him through his adolescence. And I also did that as a precursor to his spinal fusion surgery, because I really wanted to make sure that he has good, healthy bones and muscle structure as he grows. So I've got eyes on him as we go. And then we'll address it, because I know there were some boys that needed testosterone injections or what have you.
We actually had to start.
Oh, it was, okay. So I know that's I got that in my back pocket as well.
Yeah, we started that at 15.
Absolutely. I even made a list of like all the procedures that got done, because it's so exhaustive to explain this over and over again. So I just make copies of this and hand it out when we get a new provider.
Endocrine is smart. Oh, great. endocrine, Carson started, no offense, I love you so much, but she started like stinking like a boy that just came back from a football field. When she was like really little, she might not have gotten her period until she was 15. Girl was smelly. I mean, those armpits, woo! So I took her to endocrine thinking we were going to hit the 10-year-old mark, like you guys did, but we didn't. That it is nice to have a baseline. Endocrine is a great way, whether you're female or male, to go ahead and get those baselines so you can watch as they go. They did a bone density test on her, and then somebody said they'd be able to figure out when she had her period. Guys, they were off by 3 years, so maybe just saying, but that, which was good for me, whoop whoop. But endocrine is a good one to go to.
Does anybody have any questions about scoliosis? I know that's one that is, a lot of the kids with Shy Gibbs. Yeah, with Alex, he was very delayed in growing, and so we put him on. He was on testosterone, and then we also started hormone injections for growth hormone, and that was when it went from nothing to 20 degrees, like within just a few months, his scoliosis. So, yeah.
Did that start as puberty? Is that why you started?
The growth hormone, yeah, it started as puberty. Yeah, it did. 15. He was 15 when we started the growth hormone. Yeah.
So they're trying to push growth hormone for Nora. We're naturally shorter stature, so really the least of my issues. Do you have regrets using growth hormone?
Do I regret it? I kind of do, actually.
Because knowing, like, potentially it could have been a factor in the scoliosis.
He would have had it anyway. I think he would have probably had scoliosis anyway. It progressed faster with the growth hormone. Okay. But, yeah, he would have gotten there probably eventually. And we didn't, with Shy Gibbs, you don't know. But he was very delayed in puberty, so they recommended doing it, and yeah.
I would say as parents, you are always and forever will be their greatest advocates. And with scoliosis, because as we all know, it is very common in our Shy Gibbs community. I would say look for things. You can look it up, what scoliosis. My first clue was her rib cage was like sticking out a little bit, and I was like, what is that? Asked the doctor about it. Boom, I believe it was like that day. He's like, if you can stay, we're gonna fit her for a brace today. And it was like, whoa. But, so I would say look for the signs. I know some like stick out, the shoulder blades, the like little bit off shoulders. But I think it's a very high propensity for our kids to have. Puberty definitely has an effect on that because the spine at that point is growing. And so with the DNA that our kids have, the spine is destined to kind of grow crookedly with the scoliosis. And so as it is growing, it's growing crooked. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, it just, whew. Yeah.
So we didn't do the growth hormone yet. We'll wait for that.
Yeah.
And monitor results.
Yeah. So my daughter was in a brace for 5 years straight, 20 hours a day, slept in it. Probably the only time we took it off was bathing. We let her eat dinner, and it's back on. We've been lucky so far. We're still at about a 40-ish% curve, 50, we're talking surgery. She's been out of it for almost 2 years, and we're steady, so we're praying. We're praying that we don't have to do the surgery portion, but 5 years in a plastic brace that does not breathe.
We tried the brace too. Like
Yeah.
we were 3 years and very religious about it. I mean, he slept in it. He was out of it maybe an hour a day, like literally. Yeah. And we still wind up having to do the surgery. So, yeah. But you guys are spokesperson for it. Actually worked. The brace worked.
Yeah.
For us, it didn't.
So I just wanted to add, just because I know a lot of people don't know about it, Nora sees a neuromuscular specialist. So what they do is They adjust the muscles in the body, so they'll just sit there and feel to see if there's any what they call restrictions, so spots that are tight. Doesn't hurt her at all. Actually, I started seeing them after I had my second, and I can tell you when I got off the table, I feel like just a piece of air, like. So I know that and I don't, like, I'll tell them what is kind of bothering me, and usually it's somewhere else in the body, but it's nice because it doesn't hurt, and they can kind of just keep her aligned without the trauma that sometimes chiropractic care can, cause. Now, I guess we'll see what happens in puberty, and I know she's not going to be some tall kid, but maybe something to look into. Insurance pays for it for us.
I'm small, and Carson's taller than me now.
And Nora's following my growth pattern, so.
She was so tiny up until like this past 6 months.
Yeah, we tried chiropractic too. We tried everything, and it just didn't work. We would go every day. Like he would get adjusted every day, and it didn't. Yeah, it's the low tone. It's the low tone that causes it. Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions, concerns, discussions?
So I guess this one's more for the parents of boys in the house with puberty. I know you have Alex. So was there anything that medically, like medicine, that you gave him to prevent things from happening through puberty? Because I'm always concerned, like Mark's mother said, of him not being able to control himself. And as a man, you get in a lot of trouble. Like, just because you have special needs you don't get a pass for that. So I was curious.
We have not gone down that road yet, but it's coming. Like, we need to talk to our doctor about that.
Okay, because Maddox is 11, so he's coming on puberty. I'm kind of hoping it stays away for a while, because I really just don't want to deal with it. Right. But I'm going to have to deal with it at some point. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get a pass.
So my son was extremely developed way early, 10, and was going at it, if you know what I mean. So I was already an ABA at the time. I wasn't a BCBA yet, but I had experience in ABA, and so we heavily reinforced bedroom only. And then we blocked all other attempts. And because my son, it's going to be a little different for you because you have that verbal connection. I did not. So my son, he only knew reinforcement and punishment, what I allowed and what I did not. So he knows now, bedroom, alone, and that's it. He will not attempt, even here, when we're all sharing a room here and there's a bed here, I've taught him how to discriminate between beds in hotels with people versus bedroom at home with your own items. So as a mom who watches her son 24/7 because of the seizures, I'm going to tell you, I've been in some uncomfortable situations. Okay, so he likes to have his private time while I'm cooking dinner, and that's not something I ever wish on any mother. Okay, so I know that that situation tends to be a little scary for some, but once you kind of get into it with them and you teach them, like, it can't, my son was pretty intense with it at first, and he was like, and there's a fight. It was a fight about it, but it's all about what you allow and what you do not allow from the beginning. You have to redirect, and it's never too early to have the conversations, to get the books, to get the visuals, put in place, all of the things, because once you establish a routine, they will stick to that routine. And not just with my own son, I've had actually programs with some high school students of mine in the same area. And it's same strategy, same as before. If there is a physical management part of it that needs to be done, then you're going to need to inquire with some specialists. You need to get some support. But For me, it was, I didn't need anyone else to intervene. For us, I was able to manage it on my own. But if you are in a physical battle with your child because you're denying access to something that, you know, they're trying to gain access to, I would say seek a specialist, because they're the ones that can help you kind of create those routines and be able to make sure you stick with them.
And I just want to say thank you for being respectful of your teenager's job.
Yeah. Please don't make them not do it at all.
I hope that all of us are able to do that, to empower our kids to protect their bodies, be safe. And like I tell my therapist, you have to set your own boundaries with him. He's driving home with you. Yeah, he loves it. But that was wonderful. I love that.
I will say, to tag on that, the worst thing you can do, those behaviors are natural. We have natural human instinct behaviors. You're not going to abolish them, nor should you. We all need that release, and I know that's so awkward to talk about right now, but I'm going to say that we all need it. It's part of human nature, and so if you deny access to that poor part of them, that's automatically, and so if you've been in ABA, you know automatic behaviors, sensory behaviors. It is a sensory behavior, and it is one of the hardest things to shape because it is so naturally driven. But I would say that the worst thing you can do is just deny and deny and deny and not let them do it. You have to redirect to a place where it is appropriate to do it, and then just completely praise them for when they do engage. I can't tell you how awkward it was when I was like, yes, that's it.
Right. I guess I'm not trying to stop him from doing it because it's a natural thing. I know as a normal child, like high school years hit puberty, and it's very hard. You could be sitting at your desk and you get one. Like it happens. So I don't know, your child's 14, so he's coming into 9th grade, right? So how does he go to school and he has something happen, and how does he handle it at that point? Because that's what I'm afraid of him getting in trouble because he's got something that he can't control.
So getting it's not the problem. Getting rid of it might be the problem. So what we have our boys do is exercise, and I'm not even kidding. We tell them to go take some laps. I'm serious. Go take some laps. So you get your blood flowing in other parts of your body. It will extinguish. Jumping jacks. Go take some walks. Get a drink of water. Anything you can do to redirect your mind, because in the morning, of course, it's going to be a little harder. No pun intended. But it will definitely help with that motion, that activity. That activity will help get rid of it. We have a lot of boys in class that kind of struggle with that same thing, and putting the whole is not going to do it for everyone. So I would say exercise. Exercise is a huge benefit to getting rid of that.
Do you hear me? Yeah. My mother-in-law always told my stepmom, sorry. Anyway, she always taught my little brothers to, if it were in an inappropriate place, to put cold water, and then it would disappear. And I do believe it worked. So maybe you can try that.
The hardest part will be teaching him to recognize, and once he learns and recognizes, teaching him how to advocate for himself to help himself.
Thanks, everybody.
These are the questions that people want to have, or that they have, and there's nobody to ask except the rest of us.
We do have the.
This is our life.
Don't forget, we do have the Facebook group, and you can ask anything there, anything at all. And I know there's a bunch of stuff about feet. If you look up feet, we don't have to go into a whole thing about feet right now because I think it's party time. But like for the kids, I don't mean like let's go have a rave. But the feet, you can look it up. If you push in feet in the search on the Facebook group page, you're going to probably see posts from when Carson was like super tiny with her little feet. And so there's a lot of stuff about that and about foot surgery and Achilles and things like that. So if you have a question, they might want to try that because then they'll be even broader. So just even to remind myself, because I don't post enough on that, we should be trying to share our experiences as much as possible so that we can help each other, because being together here is so special, and every 2 years getting to see your friends and talk about our kiddos.
I forget about it a little bit, and then I get back here and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I was missing.
So I need to get better at it too. We should all be doing more of this on the Facebook group, because I think it's invaluable, especially as our teenagers become 21. That's insane. And our kids are changing. And then for the new families with the younger kids and the babies, we are a family, and we've got this together. And thank you to the board. Thank you all for having us here. Thank you for setting up this conference. Molly, that was beautiful what you did today. So
Great, Molly, thank you.
So thank you all so much from non-board people. Let's give the board a big round of applause.
Thanks, guys. Yep. Okay, well, okay. So I guess we're going to kind of end it, I guess. If you have any questions. Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do another pick. All right.
Here, guys, we can fill in the front. There's a hole right here. Yeah, here we go. All right, set. All right, come on, potty people. So if we're in the front, Seth, you can get everybody, right? Lance is going, and he's gonna go. Here comes some people. Come on, guys. Oh, yay, Cora! Megan Carson's clapping for Cora. Come on, Jackson. Come on, Taylor. Hold for Jackson. Hold for Jackson. Come on, join the crowd, join the crowd. Jackson has arrived. Okay, you go down.
One minute, another now. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. Everyone, we have these are the ornaments I was talking about earlier. These are handmade, and they're available right outside. Just let us know. But yeah, it's right here if you want to get a closer look at it.
You want a balloon?